Alright, everybody, what's up? It's time to talk about Bleach. Um,
So, Kuba, darling,
Cobes.
troll. We know it's your thing, but save it for when we care.
Yeah,
Like, honestly, does anybody really out there care about Nemu?
I would if she died. Like, if she legit, would stay dead, then I'll care.
You'd be like, oh wow, you'd be like, oh that's sad, but
I mean, obviously I'll
okay.
move on because, she wasn't that important of a character, but, I mean, whatever.
But that's the thing is, and she'd just be like a minor speed bump in the
Yeah.
story. Her
Which is
death would be
fine,
just.
but, I mean, whatever.
That's why it's like, if you're gonna troll us by saying, oh, a character's gonna die, save it for a character we care about, because that'll get a better reaction from the fandom, whether it be good or bad. Because it's like, most people just don't care enough to really get angry over being trolled that Nemo was gonna die. I mean, granted, she died in the most bloodiest way possible. She exploded.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
And then it was kind of cool that friggin' Mayuri got so enraged that he kind of went insane and started hallucinating.
Yeah, that was actually, to me, that was probably the best part of the chapter.
Of course, if you want to if you want to really be blunt here, isn't it kind of a plot hole that he was able to see him without his resurrection form, since he's only seen him in his resurrection form?
Um, well, I guess it depends on the extent of his listening device. Was it audio or was it audio and video? Because it was clear that he had spied on the fight between Renji and Xylopero up until that point,
I mean,
which is
maybe it
why,
was video, but it wasn't like,
yeah,
I don't know. For some reason, it just doesn't necessarily wasn't 100% clarified as to whether he actually saw him in his normal form.
yeah,
So it's not really, which is, so you could sort of say it's a plot hole, but I don't think really anybody cares enough.
yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's the minorest of plot holes, if any.
But the point is that he showed up. His image showed up and taunted Mayuri to no end.
Yeah,
That was pretty funny, I thought. And then he looked like he was about to, like, friggin' go, like, just get enraged and just go ham. But then he's like, "Oh, by the way, you're dead." Yeah, she's kind of sort of Nemu's cells that you just absorbed after killing her. Yeah, they're regenerating in your body and are pretty much to your body is pretty much cancer.
uh-huh,
Like, your cells are going bye bye, and her cells are being regenerated and reproducing, and basically you're gonna create a new body out of the few cells that you had of hers in your body,
yeah,
and you're gonna be destroyed in fabulous fashion. Now, will he remain dead? I hope so, because this is fight's been going on too long.
yeah,
Mainly because each side there's just been too much comeuppance. Like, oh, you do this, well, I counter it with this, or oh, you do this, I'll counter it with that. Like, the counters have got to stop. This is not a traditional fight, so the battle of wits can only go for so long. And
mm-hmm,
Mayuri, in all of his great wisdom and intelligence, has so many things up. Only has so many things up his sleeves. I mean, we've never. He's exhausted everything he could do against Pernida. So now
yeah,
you might be saying, "Oh, he'll have something else." I'm like, no. Whenever he's come up against an opponent, he's had what he needed, and it did the trick the first time. He didn't have to come up with a B or a C plan, but in here he needed a B, C, and D plan,
Yeah.
or in this case, B, C, and N plan. N being Nemu. So pretty much at this point, it's safe to say that Pernine is probably dead.
Yeah, I would at least hope so. Like, here's my take on that type of battle is you should only really go so far with like intelligent battles. And the reason I say that is because you only have so much intelligence yourself. And so it's like, how much intelligence do you really have to be able to draw out an intelligence fight? You know what I mean? Because you have to be smart enough to think of all these counters.
Yeah, and so now they've pretty much both exhausted their trump cards. So it's kind of like, well, okay, you're telling me that there's going to be another trump card that Pernina could, like, you're going to say that Pernina's still going to be able to regenerate from. Now, this is assuming there's even any of his cells left after Nemu's cells are done regenerating.
Right.
For all you know, there might not be a single trace left, which in that case, there's no arguing.
Hmm.
But the whole idea is that now, of course, we haven't actually seen what would have happened if Perninda's cell, like, could Perninda actually regenerate from a single cell or not?
Yeah.
At this point, we don't know. It seems like it has to be at least like a full body part
Yeah.
to at least be enough. There has to be enough cells for it to form a body part before Perninda to be able to regenerate from it. So, at
Uh-huh.
least from what we've seen so far. So, okay. And this is presumably the main Perninda body, so I'd assume that the others would die off. Or were they already killed or destroyed?
Uh, I think
Don't
they
think
might have
so.
gotten killed. I don't remember exactly. It's all a blur at this point.
Exactly my point. This
Yeah.
fight has to end so definitively. And I mean, I don't think so. They would have been killed because of the whole fact that they can regenerate. Because even the shot Nemu did on Perninda, the main Perninda's eye, was he was still able to regenerate.
Right.
So I would hope if they take down the main Perninda that the clones would die off.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's at this point pretty much set. At least in my opinion, it has to be set. The fight has to be over, or else Coombs is seriously trying to put this series, like, if he tries to extend this fight any longer, it'll get worse and worse and worse, and he'll just be throwing all the hard work he's done down the toilet.
Yeah. Like, are you like trying to get revenge on all those people who are putting Bleach below Fairy Tail? Like, really? Like, I know that was shit before, but I mean, you're almost gonna make it a reality, dude. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Even Westerners are gonna start saying, all right, Fairy Tail is actually doing something that Bleach is not. Okay, so
Getting people excited.
yeah.
Like, we were all excited when the Pernida Mayuri fight was going on, began, but it's been drawn out too much. Because it's not just it's a fight between two intelligent beings with special powers. You
Hmm.
can only showcase these special powers so many times, so you
Yeah.
have to end it. If it was the more traditional fight, it still probably should have ended at this point because of the sheer number of chapters. They would have been, clashing back and forth and would have also been pulling out techniques. So it's just gotten to that point. Like, if this isn't the main fight of the, like, this isn't, Ichigo versus Yuha Bak. This is Mayuri versus Perninda.
Yeah.
So it's got to end.
Hmm.
There's plenty of other fights that need to go on that will probably also be drawn out to no end. So let's get there.
Yeah. Let's get to a fight that, like, we're actually gonna care about. That, like, it's fine if it goes on a little bit long. Like, something with Byakuya is fine.
I don't
Anything
know.
with
Like,
Byakuya I approve of, so just saying. Unless he's
let's
getting
just hope,
brutally beaten.
like he did earlier in the arc.
Yeah, that was just ugh.
Alright, so overall, I thought the chapter was decent, but
Yeah,
Coops, you gotta move.
yeah. Content wise, it was as a standalone content wise, it was good, but in the context of pacing, it just you just gotta move on. You really do.